But having said this, it must be shown that God knows what is cheap, and that this is not inconsistent with the nobility of his knowledge. For when any active power is stronger, it extends its action to more remote places, so that it appears also in the actions of the sensible. Now the power of the divine intellect in knowing things is likened to an active power. For the divine intellect does not know by receiving from things, but rather by what flows into them. Since, therefore, there is infinite power in understanding, as is evident from what has been said, it is necessary that his knowledge should be extended to the remotest. But the degree of nobility and lowliness in all beings is considered according to their nearness and distance from God, who is at the end of nobility. Therefore God, because of the greatest power of his understanding, knows how much the lowest among beings. In addition, everything that exists in what it is or what it is an act, and it is a similitude of the first act, and from this it has nobility. What is also power from order to act is a partaker of nobility, for it is said to be so. It is therefore left that each thing considered in itself is noble, but it is said to be base in respect of the nobler. But the noblest of other things are no less distant from God than the last of created things are distant from the highest. If, therefore, this distance hindered divine knowledge, it hindered it much more. And so it would follow that God knew nothing apart from himself, what was disproved above. If, therefore, he knows anything other than himself, however noble, he knows anything by the same token, however low it may be called. Further, the good of the order of the universe is more noble than any part of the universe. When the individual parts are ordered to the good of the order, which is in the whole as to the end, as is clear from the Philosopher in the 11th Metaphysics. If, therefore, God knows any other noble nature, he will especially know the order of the universe. But this cannot be known unless the nobler and the inferior are known, in whose distances and relations the order of the universe consists. It remains then that God knows not only what is noble, but also what is considered low. Still, the inferiority of the known does not in itself overflow into the knower, for this is of the nature of knowledge, so that the knower contains the species of the known according to his own manner. By accident, however, the lowliness of what is known may overflow into the knower, either by the fact that, while he is considering the lowly, he is distracted from thinking of the nobler, or by the fact that, from the consideration of the lowly, he is inclined to some undue affections. This indeed cannot be in God, as is clear from what has been said. Therefore, the knowledge of base things does not detract from the divine nobility, but rather belongs to the divine perfection, according to which he possesses all things in himself, as was shown above. Still, a power is not judged small which is capable of being small, but that which is determined to be small. For a power which is capable of being great is also capable of being small. Knowledge, then, which can be both noble and base, is not to be judged as base, but that which can only be base, as happens with us. For we consider the divine and the human with a different consideration, and the knowledge of both is different. Whence, in comparison with the more noble, the inferior is regarded as inferior. But with God it is not so. For he considers himself and all other things with the same knowledge and consideration. Therefore no cheapness is ascribed to his knowledge from the fact that he knows anything cheap, and this is in harmony with what is said of wisdom, 7 of divine wisdom, which reaches everywhere because of its purity, and nothing defiled comes into it. Now it is clear from what has been said that the reason which was objected to the contrary is not inconsistent with the truth which has been shown. For the nobility of science is regarded according to those things to which science is principally directed, and not to all things which fall into science. For under the noblest of sciences, with us, fall not only the highest of beings, but also the lowest. For the first philosophy extends its consideration from the first being to the being in power, which is the last of beings. Thus, under divine knowledge, the lowest of beings are included, as if they were known at the same time as the principal knowledge. For the divine essence is the principal knowledge of God, in which all things are known, as was shown above. It is also clear that this truth does not contradict what the philosopher said in Metaphysics 11. For there he intends to show that the divine intellect does not know anything other than itself, which is the perfection of its own understanding as the principle known. And according to this manner, he says that the lowly are better known than they are known, namely, when there is a different knowledge of the lowly and the noble, and the consideration of the lowly hinders the consideration of the noble.